Yeah.
Be there too. Be there too.
Hey, everybody. So we'll start the lecture. So we're going to go under defining and refining the problem. So does anyone have any questions about the project so far? Have you started working on it? And do you have a completed group contract?
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey. So has anyone started the project yet, or are you waiting until later in the semester? That's okay. If you have any questions, just email me or WhatsApp me.
Sorry, have we been shared into groups already?
No, not yet. We haven't. Why you ask?
Okay, are you going to put us into different groups, or how are we going to choose the groups that we?
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant for the class. Yeah, you can choose your own groups, and if you need a group, I can put you in a group. Just let me know. But yeah, you can choose your own groups, and if you need a group, I'll get you a group.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, so yeah, like you can choose your own groups, but I know some people don't have group members to choose, so I'll get them a group.
So maybe it'd be best if you just share us into a group so we can start up with the project.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put that together.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, sounds good. So yeah, I'll and then if people want to change groups, you can. So I'll do that. So we're gonna go through fundamentals and research. So emotional impulse versus methodical, basic research versus applied research, internal versus external research teams and ethics. And then we're going to go through the scientific method, hypothetical deductive method, and the relevant and sufficient data. So don't forget to understand the keywords and concepts. So we're going to go through what the problem opportunity areas are, narrowing down broad problem such opportunity, developing a good problem statement, developing a research proposal, and thinking about the role of ethics. So let's check something. So I actually have quiz 1 scheduled February 10th. It's different than the what's in so yeah, I think it's scheduled February 10th. Yeah. So don't worry about it until February 10th. That was just a mistake.
After class?
What?
The quiz is after class?
Yeah, I'll give you time. I'll give you time in class to do it at the end. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem.
And sir, how can we join the groups? There are no groups available on the
So I'll
Conestoga.
send. So what I'll do is I'll send. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna send them right now. Send the groups to everybody. So I'll do that right now.
Sir, can we create our own group?
Yeah, you can. What I'll do is I'll put groups together right now. But you can change groups if you want. So put this in. Yeah, I'll send it over right in a second. I'm just going to. But yeah, feel free to change your groups if as you want. Yeah. And you can have up to 5. You can have up to 5 people and 6 if you want. Yeah, 6 works as well. I'll just send that over right now. I'm just gonna send them over. Just email me or email me if you want to switch groups, or if you like the groups, or if you want to be in a different group, just let me know. I'll send you the email right now. So the groups will be like this, but you can switch groups if you wish. I'll send it. So I just sent all the groups to everybody, so you can go through that. So yeah, I just sent that over to everybody.
Sorry, we're in email or something?
Email, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there, if you look at the word problem, it can also mean opportunity, and they're both part of research. So look at the discussion questions at the end of each chapter review before quizzes after exams. Yeah, look at if the purpose is a problem or opportunity. Problem is a situation that's regarded as unwelcomed or harmful and needing to be dealt with and overcome, and where a gap exists between an actual and desired situation. and don't confound symptoms with the actual source of the problem. So opportunity is a set of circumstances that makes it possible to achieve something new. So you can kind of, if there's a problem, you may see opportunity. So try to, with every problem, there is probably opportunity. So look at that, look at it from that lens. So an example of a problem is the introduction of flexible work hours has created more problems than it has solved. And the problem is it's not too focused or specific. So it's not good for a research project. So it's important to be more specific and precise by looking at the key ideas and looking through a question perspective to investigate the subject. So it's important to do like data analysis on that. So like looking at the productivity of workers being remote and looking at the amount of production created by workers through flexible work. So like look at all of that because that's important to see what is gained. And then when investigating any situation, we often ask the question why. We then obtain an answer. So it's important to go deeper because like the answer might be too shallow, it might be too surface level. You want to go deeper and ask more questions, more specific questions. So ask why about the main question and then any specific question. And it's important for the Japan continuous improvement philosophy. It's important to do to find the real source of the problem. So getting to the source of the problem, it's not easy to define what is the problem or opportunity. There might be symptoms that mask the source and require preliminary research to better understand the context and refine the research scope. So look at the broad management problem and do research and define the research problem. So you got to find certain sources for your research. And then look at what's written about it so far, and then observe what happened and interview people in topic to determine if the problem is understood. It's good to ask 5 whys and 1 how because that's a good way to determine what the research questions are. And this will make you know of many questions that would allow you to find a problem or opportunity. So exploratory research study, you determine broad elements, explore complexity to identify the clear key variables. So you can look at, that's mostly reading other papers on the subject instead of just looking at the data. So it's like reading other papers because it's qualitative. And then descriptive research is more like it's either reading other papers or using numbers to determine what is happening. And then correlation research study, determine the correlations and causation of X and Y. So what happens if one variable is affected by another variable? And then a causal research study. So what if X causes Y or X is correlated with Y? And then test your hypothesis. So then it's important to have the problem statement. So in this, you build on the information gathered. You show the focus of the project and what the overall objective is without being too generic. And determine what you need to know. Guide and structure the process of collecting and analyzing information. And ask like 5 to 8 questions and determine what the research and body of knowledge is. So example of problem statement is, this is a good one. So frequent and long delays may translate into much frustration among airline passengers to switching behavior and to negative word of mouth communication. These feelings and behaviors eventually have negative effects on the performance and profitability of the firm. So the purpose is to determine the factors that influence passenger waiting experience and investigate what waiting does to customer satisfaction and service evaluations. So the questions you ask are, what are the factors that affect the perceived rating experience of airline passengers, and to what extent do these factors affect the perception of waiting times? So you figure out how long delays lead to like what happens with the experience of passengers. And then negative word of mouth is another thing you would look at in terms of experience. So experience might lead to negative word of mouth. And then think about what the effective consequences of waiting and how it does affect, mediate the relationship between waiting and service evaluations. So you can look at what waiting does to service evaluations, like what waiting contributes to service evaluations, like are they good or bad because of waiting, service evaluations. And then looking at situational variables to influence customer reactions to waiting experience. So we'll do breakout rooms on this. So answer these 3 questions in the breakout rooms, and then we'll come back. So
Hi, sir.
Hey, so I'm just waiting for more people to come back in. Where we'll go through the research questions. So I'm not sure if you just showed up, but I put people in breakout rooms so they can answer the research questions for this.
Sir, I have a question. So how you are like changing the groups? Like, if you already fixed the group members?
Yeah, you can. If you want to change groups, and I put those together because a lot of people might not know each other in this class, which was the same in my last class. So I put those together so you have like a guide, but if you want to switch groups, you can. Yeah. So
from where we can do it?
You just email me. Like email me what group you want to be in.
Professor, actually we 5 people, we joined in, but we were waiting for your confirmation. So can I mail you 5 names as a group?
Yeah. And then if let's say you make a group and then someone, like, let's say there's like 4 groups made, like 4 groups picked, and then if there's like a few people that still need a group, I'll put them together and ask other groups if they can accept those people, right? So yeah, everyone will have a group. So I'm going to get everyone in a group. Even if you can't pick one, I'll get you a group. I'll talk to groups and see if you can be in that group, or I'll make a group for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So like everyone's going to have a group because it'll make it easier, because these studies are it's challenging to do on your own, trust me. So it's good to, I like group projects are a lot better because you can delegate, and whoever's good at data or writing or math can do that. So so I'll ask everybody, what are the factors that affect the perceived waiting experience of airline passengers, and to what extent do these factors affect the perception of waiting times? You can unmute, or you can state in the chat if you want. So I'll share. So I think like waiting, so probably long delays. If their flight is delayed by a long time, I think that would reduce the waiting experience. They wouldn't be as happy if they have to wait for their plane. I think that's a big part of it, and that was talked about in the problem. So how about everybody else? Can you think of any other reasons why there is that whatever can affect the perceived waiting experience?
I think it also depends upon whether a person is traveling solo or is he with.
That's a good point.
If there are 2 or more people, I think it will be better to pass the time, and the waiting experience would not be that bad.
That's great. Yeah, I agree. Great job, Jasmine. That's good job. Excuse me. That's very true. Yeah, like if you have more people, if you have a person with you, it's a lot better, because it can get lonely, right? Like if you're on a plane alone, it can get lonely, right? So it's good to have family with you. What about anybody else? Do you have any ideas?
Ambience can also play a vital role.
What can play a role?
Ambience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, those things are great. And what you could do is you can look at, there's a lot of airplane data, right? So you could literally like with you could look at like, you could graph like the effect of having a family, like of having someone to fly with on waiting experience. So you could do that. You could compare it. So you could see if it's like if it goes, if like how they relate to each other. And you could also graph like the effect of ambience. On waiting experience. So I'll check. So I'll keep this up. I'm just going to stop share for a second. I'm just going to check if we can find. So I'll bring this up. So I'm going to check if we can find. The effect of having someone to fly with on airplane experience. Yeah, there might be data on it potentially, probably somewhere. But yeah, that would be a good study you could do. So. And then what are the effective consequences of waiting, and how does effect mediate the relationship between waiting and service evaluations? So yeah, waiting too long, you might have your service might be worse, so they may have a negative effect on service evaluations. And then so how do situational variables such as filled time influence customer reactions to the waiting experience? So like if like the customers have stuff to do during the time they're waiting, they may have a better waiting experience because they might have, be occupied with their time. So the research proposal, it'll go through background of the study, problem/opportunity area, purpose of study, research objective, research questions, scope of the study, relevance of the study, the research design, type of study, data collection methods, the sampling design, data analysis, time frame of the study, budget, dollars and hours, selected bibliography. So those should be included. And you'll go through, like, you provide information on data, the papers written, what you want to do in the research, the data analysis, and the whys. So go through all those parts, ask why, structure the research proposal based on what's in this PowerPoint. And yeah. So it'll be due week 12, and cover page, table of contents, short introduction, body of the report, short conclusion, references, appendices. So APA. So hypothetical deductive process, you'll have to use that in. So I'm gonna bring up next thing. So I'll bring up a video on hypothetical deductive process. I'm just gonna set it up.
Job is to make college easier because students have a lot on their.
हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू डायनेमिक स्टडी। तो आई होप आप लोग अच्छे होंगे और आपकी प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट आपने कर दी होगी एग्ज़ाम के बाद। तो आज का जो टॉपिक है हमारा वो है हाइपोथेटिको डिडक्टिव रिसर्च मेथड। ये टॉपिक इस बार एग्ज़ाम में इस पे बेस्ड एक क्वेश्चन आया हुआ था, तो आगे उम्मीद है कि इस पे आपके डिटेल्ड क्वेश्चंस आएँ और उसके साथ साथ इसको आपको डिटेल में जानना बहुत ज़रूरी है। तो रिसर्च एप्टीट्यूड की जब हम बात करते हैं तो हाइपोथेटिकल डिडक्टिव रीजनिंग आखिर में रिसर्च मेथड आखिर में होता क्या है और किस तरीके से इसको हम अप्लाई करते हैं, इसके बारे में हम यहाँ पे बात करेंगे। डिडक्टिव वर्ड्स आपको समझ में आ गया होगा, इस तरीके की डिडक्टिव रीजनिंग भी आपने की हुई है, डिडक्टिव रिसर्च के बारे में भी आपको पता है। अब ये आखिर में हाइपोथेटिकल डिडक्टिव होता क्या है, ठीक है, इसका बेसिक मीनिंग क्या है, इसको किस तरीके से हम समझ सकते हैं। तो आपने बहुत सारे सोर्सेज में देखा होगा, अगर आपने कभी गूगल भी करने की कोशिश की होगी तो ये टॉपिक आपको बहुत ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड लगेगा, बट यहाँ पे मैंने कोशिश की है कि आपको इस टॉपिक को, जैसे कि मैं हमेशा करते आई हूँ, बहुत ही इजी वे में आपको समझाने की कोशिश करूँ। तो हाइपोथेटिकल डिडक्टिव रिसर्च मेथड के बारे में चलिए सबसे पहले बेसिक देख लेते हैं, उसके बाद हम आगे डिस्कस करेंगे। तो लेट्स स्टार्ट द क्लास। ओके, तो सबसे पहले जो हमें समझने वाली बात है वो ये है कि इसका बेसिक मीनिंग क्या होता है और एग्जाम में आपका और क्या चीज़ पूछी जा सकती है इस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक।
Okay, sorry about that. This was I brought up the wrong video. Give me 1 second. So yeah, I'll bring up the correct video.
Written, and I've been working on it for about a week. So now I'm going to show you how I use Grammarly to.
Hi everyone, this is Laura Hammock from the Marble Jar channel, and in today's video I'll go through the step-by-step process that I use when I'm writing a research paper. Every person is different, but I think that there are some basic steps to writing a good research paper, and it doesn't involve just typing out as many words on a topic that you could possibly think of. Now, what I'm going to give you are fairly generic steps, but I think that they would apply to the majority of research papers, give or take a couple steps. If your paper is 8 pages or longer, I would strongly urge you to plan out the steps for your paper at least 4 weeks in advance. So you can watch my video on planning out big projects or research papers on that. I'll give you an idea of how long I think most of these steps would take for a 15-page paper, and you can adjust accordingly based on your assignment and your general research and writing speed. Here we go. Number 1, understand the instructions. So read through the instructions for the assignment and make notes. It's obviously really important to understand exactly what the assignment is asking for, and as early as possible. You don't want to find out that you don't understand something when you are down to the wire. Plus, if you have questions, I guarantee you're not the only one. Oh, and if you want to get a good grade, you need to follow the assignment instructions, even if you think it's a dumb assignment. I have learned that the hard way. So take the 30 minutes that it takes to understand the assignment completely. Number 2, choose a topic. So after you figured out what the assignment is asking for, you'll need to pick a topic. You can pick one out of the air, but I would suggest choosing a couple of topics that seem interesting to you and then doing some superficial research just to make sure that there is enough interesting information out there to do a paper on. If you don't do this, you may have to change your topic later in the process after you've wasted considerable mental energy. So this step can take 1 to 2 hours depending on how much research you do on your possible topics. Number 3, build a basic outline. So now that you have a topic, you are going to build a basic outline for your paper based on the instructions given. So I'm going to do a video on some of the outline tools that I use, but there is really no need to be fancy. Just make a list of the sections and some bullets underneath to give them more detail. So at this point, you haven't researched fully yet, so the outline is not going to be very detailed until you do. For example, I did a paper recently that asked me to explore a concept and gave several areas that needed to be addressed in the paper. A definition, 2 related theoretical perspectives, how the concept has changed over time, current practice or policy issues, and how these issues might differ for 2 countries. So based on these instructions, I put together the following initial outline. If your teacher or your professor provides exemplars or examples of exemplary papers from previous classes, I always use these to help me build a good outline. So I try to ignore the content since I don't want to be overly influenced by somebody else's work, but I will not hesitate to completely rip off a good structural design for a paper, as long as it flows with the way that I think. This should take you no more than an hour. Number 4, make a list of relevant research studies. So now you're going to use all of your resources, online and otherwise, to make a list of studies and articles to read for your paper. You can use Google Scholar, or if your learning institution has a library portal, you will have even better access to research journals and other scholarly resources. So I have a video that covers how I keep and reference this information, but for this step, you are just gathering a giant list of things to read that might be relevant to your research. Compiling this list can take 2 to 4 hours. Number 5, read research and make notes. So this is the step where you actually read through the studies and the articles and the papers on your list. Plan for this to take a little while. You need to read and take notes as you read. So I keep all of my quotes from the literature in a giant spreadsheet. Again, you can see my video on this. I highlight and copy into my spreadsheet any quotes that I might need to reference, important pieces of data, good arguments, examples, and findings from studies. I cut and I paste all of those quotes into a spreadsheet that is referenced back to the original article. As a rule, I don't usually need to read the entire journal article if I'm mostly interested in the results of the study. I simply quote the findings, which can usually be found in the abstract. If I'm citing liberally from a book, I try to get that book in Kindle format so that I can export those highlights into my spreadsheet. You can see my video on that as well. Also, many articles are in PDF format, and I have a video on exporting all the highlights from a PDF, so you don't have to do it laboriously one passage at a time. This step can take a really long time. I had almost 50 references for my last 17-page paper, and reading them took 8+ hours or so. Number 6, categorize highlights by outline section or topic. So once I have a giant list of highlights, I read back through them all, and as I do, I try to categorize each quote roughly mapping back to my outline. So in the case of my paper, does this quote have to do with the differences between 2 countries, or does it have to do more with current US policy? Sometimes it doesn't match well, in which case I put it into a miscellaneous category. Inevitably, I need more granular categories, so I can also create a subcategory column. For example, this quote has to do with a section of the paper on theoretical perspectives, but it has specifically to do with cognitive theory. So I can mark that differently than this quote about life course perspective. Number 7, make decisions by mind map. So as you're reading through the research that you have gathered, you might have to make some decisions about what are the strongest points to make in your paper. So how do you come to these decisions? Sometimes I use a mind map to gather my thoughts. A mind map is a visual tool to help you see how ideas are related to each other. So I might do a video just on mind maps, but for now, let's say you're trying to determine the 3 strongest arguments that you want to present. You write your main topic in the center, and then you write down all of the ideas that have emerged from your research. Now you're going to move those ideas into clumps that are related, and you will start to see some patterns emerge showing which arguments have the most backup in literature. It's not required, but if you are at all visual, mind maps will help you to see relationships and make decisions. Number 8, fill an outline with your research. So sort your reference spreadsheet based on paper section, and now beef up your outline with the information from your research. If you have 3 arguments to make, add those statistics, data, findings, and quotes that support those arguments. This step is not required, but it helps to make the writing process much faster. Number 9, write your draft. So now you're going to work off of your detailed outline, or off of your basic outline and reference spreadsheet if you had skipped the last step, and start writing your draft. So I usually estimate about 1 hour per double-spaced page. You can go twice as fast if you have a detailed outline. At the drafting stage, instead of filling in full APA formatted references and citations, I use the reference numbers from my spreadsheet. Otherwise, I break the flow of writing, since for me, writing and fixing style issues are 2 really different cognitive processes. So my rule of thumb is to write in shifts, no longer than 6 hours at a stretch. After 6 hours, I'm just not as good a writer, but you may have really different parameters. Number 10, edit paper, fix APA, and fill in your references. So it's best to put a little time between this step and the last one just to clear your brain. So I aim for at least 24 hours, but 48 is even better. So this is when you reread, you edit grammar, you look at sentence structure, etc. I like to print out and edit with a red pen. This is also the time to fix your APA or writing style problems and format all of your citations. I format all of my citations on my spreadsheet, and then I sort them alphabetically before pasting them into my paper. I find that this saves me the hassle of alphabetizing as I go. So I just have to remember to italicize the relevant bits once I've pasted them back into the paper. I give myself at least 4 hours for this step. I'm still learning on APA format, so I need the extra time. Number 11, find a second reader. So my graduate program employs a writing advisor. I use him all of the time. I ask him a bunch of esoteric APA questions, and I always have him read my papers. So even if he doesn't provide that much feedback, I feel better having another set of eyeballs read through it and point out obvious issues. If you don't have access to a writing advisor, get a friend or a colleague whose opinion you respect to read through it. And number 12, make final edits and submit. Implement whatever suggestions came from your second reader, provided that you agree with them. Give it one last read through and submit. And that's it. Those are the steps that I follow for decent length research papers. Let me know what you think.
So that's a good video in general tips, how to do a research paper. So we will do a bucket here. I'm just going to bring this up. Which bucket do you want to do? Gold Quest, Fishing Frenzy, Crypto Hack, Tower Defense, Cafe, Battle Royale, Factory, Racing, Crazy Kingdom, Tower of Doom, or Classic?
Cafe.
Classic, okay, cool. Okay, so we'll start this, and yeah. So to join, click this link. will start it, but anyone can still join. Just click on the link. So yeah, Wikipedia is not a credible source because anyone can edit it, which makes it a problem. So yeah, you want to get articles that are published in a magazine, journal, encyclopedia. Not so much magazine, but journal and journal is best. Journal and encyclopedia. Yeah. Great job, everybody. Excellent job, Jasmine, Santiago, Shubham, and everybody else. Great job. Excellent. Thanks. Thanks for all the great participation. So we're going to our next activity. We're going to do, I'm just going to bring it up. So we're gonna do an activity. I'm just gonna bring it up. So I'm gonna just share this to everybody, and then we're gonna do breakout rooms to complete this. So yeah, this is the document that we'll do. And I'll share my screen right now. So we'll do a project on this. So I didn't copy it right. I'll just steps we're supposed to copy over. There you go. Okay, so here. So each group will do this for a certain company. I'll just wait, give me 1 second. So I got it. Okay. So I'll put this in the document. Instead of this, we'll go with this. So these are the steps. So we'll have like a few groups. So copy. So we'll have a few for each group. So you can label which one is for your group. But for example, I'm just going to share my screen again. So here, like broad problem area, for my example, I could say like what is the best, like what influences stocks the most, let's say, and then like my stocks have been going up. I want to learn what makes them go up. Then like develop hypotheses. You could say I am going to test to see what so like testing develop hypotheses. So like my hypotheses is that cash flow will increase stock prices. So like you can look at cash flow and stock prices, and then you can collect data from like Yahoo Finance, and then you do data analysis. So you like graph cash flow against stock prices and see if if they are correlated. Progress cash flow against stock prices and see if they are correlated. And interpret data. So yeah, like you can look at so you interpret data. So you look at, let's say, if cash flow and stock goes up and then stocks go up, cash flow is positively correlated with stock prices. So like you can talk about that, and then like if you do see that cash flow goes up and stocks go up, cash flow is positively correlated with stock prices. So you can so think of something that you want to test. Like you could do, like ideas are, so like I recommend you can use Statistics Canada. So Statistics Canada. So how about what we do is we'll do COVID-19. So like do COVID-19 vaccines work, right? You want to do that. So there's a lot of data on it. So I'll show you here, COVID-19 vaccine data. So then figure out if they do end up working to reduce death and hospitalizations. There's a lot of data available, so try to test that. So we'll use this data here. So use that data and then analyze the data, interpret the data, and collect the data. So we'll do this in breakout rooms. So I'll set up everyone breakout rooms. So how's it going in here, everybody?
Sir, can you stop sharing your screen so we can, one of us can share in our group and we can discuss?
Sure, sorry about that. I apologize. Yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen. Yeah, like I wrote a whole bunch of data analysis there. You can use that data if you want. But yeah, you just analyze it and just see if, let's say, vaccines help reduce hospitalizations and death. And yeah, like, or if like whatever you find. Yeah. How's it going over here though?
First, we will start our discussion now.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yes. Thank you.
How's it going over here, everybody?
Absolutely fine, sir.
Great. Yeah, I put down some data here. You can use it. I just analyzed it, but you can use it and then analyze and just write down what you see. But yeah, let me know if you need help.
Okay, sir. Actually, like we need to write the answers of every questions in, like, what we need to do, sir?
So write down, like, analyze the data and see if vaccinations reduce hospital, like going to the hospital and dying of COVID-19. And yeah, those are yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
No problem. So I'm just checking on the rooms. How's everybody going here? Okay, cool. Let me know if you need help.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, bhai.
How's everybody doing here?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Hi, sir.
Hey, how's everybody going here? Cool. Yeah, let me know if you need help. Just raise your hand and what are you saying?
So do we have to write these on the same topic on COVID only or another
Oh, you
topic?
can, if you want to do another topic, that works too. Yeah, I just made COVID just as like as an idea, but it's up to you, like whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever interests you guys.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. How's everybody going in here?
Very good, but we don't really understand what we're supposed to do.
So with this, you analyze you think about like the broad problem area is do COVID-19 vaccinations work to reduce death and hospitalizations? And then you want to see if vaccines are able to prevent death and hospitalization, and then analyze the data. So like I posted a whole bunch of data on my section you can use and see if it does end up reducing going to the hospital and death. And yeah, so like if it does or doesn't, just talk about it. And yeah, I also the other group I was talking to, they wanted to see if they could do another topic, but that's fine. If you want to do another, if you want to see it, look at another topic, you can do that too. Yeah. Any other questions, anybody?
No, sir.
Okay, excellent. Let me know if you need help. There's a hand button if you need help. How's it going over here, everybody? Do you need help?
Actually, we don't know what to do in this.
Okay, so you're figuring out if COVID-19 vaccines lead to less hospitalizations or deaths. So you can look at the data I posted and figure out if it does or doesn't, and just explain why. And or if you want to do another topic, if you want to analyze another data thing, you can do that. Like if you want to figure out what causes stock prices to rise, you can do that too if you want. It's up to you. You don't have to do that topic. Just if you think of another topic, you can do that too. Yeah.
So we have to clarify the 7 subtopics.
Yeah. So the problem area, problem statement, hypotheses, measures, data collection, data analysis, interpretation of data.
Okay. Sir, if you don't mind, can you give us one example, the same situation, and we have to write identify a broad problem area. So can we write, I don't know what to write actually, but can you please suggest anything?
So you could do like what can solve COVID-19? Like if it's like you could say like what can be the solution to COVID-19? That could be the one. Do COVID-19 vaccines work to reduce death and hospitalizations? You could do that if you want. And then I have a whole bunch of data that shows you if it does or not, and then you can analyze it. Yeah.
Okay.
Like sir, population is increasing.
Sorry?
This may be the topic. Like population is increasing.
Population is increasing.
Okay. You could do that. Like if you want to do that too, you could do that one. That works. Yeah.
So this isn't graded, right?
No. It's just it's practice for your report. So I'm just giving practice because like when you're writing your report, this will be good practice for it.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
No problem. Hey, who needs help?
Yes, sir. Professor, I just wanted to ask, like, we have to write it somewhere, or we just have to discuss that?
You write it in the
document you have sent?
Yeah, the document. Yeah.
Professor, can you share the link in chat box?
Yes, and also this is not graded. It's good practice for when you write your final report. So yeah, it's not graded. Don't worry about the grade. I'm just giving you more like it's a good time to practice the hypothetical deductive model on this, just for your final project. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, let me know if you need help. I'll come back in.
Sure.
So we're gonna bring everybody back in soon. I think I'm gonna close them out. I'll just check. Just check everyone's doing. Yeah, I think everyone's doing great. I think I'll bring everybody back in. So we were closing the breakout rooms, and I'll discuss what everyone's done. I really like the research. The research is great. Very proud of the work so far. That's great. So I'll describe how, like, what happens and everything. Okay, so everybody's pretty much back in. So the problem area is, do COVID-19 vaccines work? Yes, it's working, because after that rates start decreasing. So that's great. The death rate is decreasing. Excellent. So yeah, we can solve COVID-19 through vaccinations. Yeah, that's a good point. 2 years. Vaccinations, I like how you bring up it plays an important role to reduce COVID. So that's great, because it's not gonna, like, there's still the spread of the virus even with vaccination. So we're gonna need something else to stop the spread. So I like how you said it plays an important role. So it reduces deaths and hospitalizations, but the spread still happens. So, like, yeah, COVID-19 vaccines work. And, like, yeah, good. I like how you talk about how it shows just mild symptoms instead of hospitalizations and death. Fatality rate decreases. Yeah, like, there are some issues though. That's true. That's fair. Yeah, it's rare, but I know very rare, but I know that there are blood clots with the AstraZeneca and the J&J, but they were extremely rare. And also the risk of myocarditis can happen with vaccines, but it's much lower than getting the virus. So there still is risk, but getting the vaccine is a lot. There's some risk to the vaccine, but getting the vaccine is the risk of getting the vaccine. The risks to the vaccine are way less than the risk of getting COVID-19. And then, yeah, that's good. The vaccine rates, deaths, that's great. And then, so yeah, that's a good stat that the hospitalizations are like 20 times less when you're vaccinated. That's great. And then I posted all this data that I found, and here, this is really good. I like this one. So yeah, comparing deaths and hospitalization, seeing the ratio for vaccinated people, and then comparing unvaccinated people against deaths and hospitalization. That's great. Yeah, that's a really good comparison. That's really good. Then 13.65 times more people are hospitalized when they're unvaccinated compared to vaccinated. So that's good. That's good. Then effectiveness of the COVID-19 vaccine affects non-vaccinated people. Yeah. Then that's good. The problem statement. For when you do the final report, don't copy and paste this. Do it in your own words. But this is a good problem statement. Just do it in your own words when we do the final report. Then the hypothesis is good, and then deaths. Yeah. So writing these deaths, you'd write it like this. And then for confirmed cases, it would be, I think it's 354 million. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, there you go. And then wearing masks, sanitizing properly, avoiding much populated areas, limiting going to parties. So the India stats, yeah, those are good find on the India stats. So here, it's like that, write it like this. And then good data, like the graphs. Yeah, good measures, rainfall, snowfall, temperature range for climate change, climate data online. That's great. Great job, everybody. I'm really impressed. So this is a good practice for your final report. So yeah, you'll be able, you can use, so you're gonna make your final report based on these hypothetical deductive measures. So you'll do all 7. So like all of these in your report. So like everyone's doing a good job so far. So like this is a good prep for doing the final report. So you're gonna have to do your topic on these areas with your group, and then all the other parts of it, like the table of contents, the cover page, and all that stuff. So yeah, this is a good practice. But I think we're going to close out for today. But does anyone else have any questions for today?
No, Professor.
No,
Okay.
Professor.
Okay, excellent. Great participation today, everybody. Great job. I'm very proud of everybody. Yeah, great class. But yeah, if you have any questions, just WhatsApp me or email me.
Thank you, Professor.
No problem. Well, great job, everybody, today. And is everybody good for right now? Okay, so if you still want to edit this document, you can, just for practice. And like you can also, if you want to turn this into your final report, like if you want to use some of this for your final report, you can. Like this can be used, like no problem. Like don't worry, like if you want to do it on like some of this stuff, go ahead. So yeah, we're gonna do more activities like this because it's good for your practice of data analysis. But yeah, everybody have a good night, or wherever you are in the world. I forget. Sorry, like
Good night, Professor.
yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir.
Yeah.
Good night, Professor.
Can we be 6 person in a group?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Professor.
No problem. Good job, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah, take care, everybody. And just contact me if you need help, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good day, sir.
You too, everybody. Yeah, great class today, everybody.